Imagine you're walking down a busy Seoul street, your entire world just collapsed, and you're so angry you can't see straight. Then you slam into someone hard, and instead of apologizing like a normal person, you snap at them. The only problem is, the man you just insulted is Min Joonwoo, Seoul's most feared underground boss, a mafia who's killed for less than disrespect. He is a man you don't want to cross. Before we dive into Linda and Joonwoo's collision that'll change both their lives forever, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. This dark romance comes in multiple parts, and trust me, you do not want to miss what happens when fire meets ice. Also, drop a comment right now. Would you apologize to a mafia boss or stand your ground risking your life in the process? Let's get into it. This is the story of one collision. One wrong word that started a war neither of them was prepared to fight. And it all began on the worst day of Linda Matthews's life. The office of Avant Maison smelled broken dreams. Linda Matthews stood in David Chen's stark white office, her portfolio clutched in hands. She had just wasted 3 years of her life. She had swallowed microaggressions and brilliant designs that her boss, David, had watered down until they were forgettable. Linda, this isn't working. David didn't even look up from his tablet. Her spine straightened. What isn't working? My last mood board got 50,000 likes. Your aesthetic doesn't align with our brand vision. He finally looked at her, and Linda saw it in his eyes. The decision was already made. This conversation was a formality. Avant Maison is about elegance, refinement, not urban streetwear. The word urban hit like a slap. Linda's jaw tightened. Urban? You mean black? David stood, his dismissiveness a weapon he wielded expertly. Don't make this about race. You're simply not the right fit. Security will escort you out. Clear your desk. I moved across the world for this. Her voice rose despite herself. Angry tears threatening. I gave you 3 years. My designs, my time, my creativity. And we gave you an opportunity many would kill for. He was already turning away, conversation over in his mind. Be grateful. Goodbye, Linda. The door opened. A security guard waited, avoiding her eyes. Through the glass walls, other designers watched. Some with pity. Most with relief it wasn't them. Linda walked past the whispers, past the judging eyes, past 3 years of proving herself that apparently meant nothing. She didn't cry. She burned. But what Linda didn't know was that her worst day was about to get catastrophically worse. Or maybe, just maybe, it was about to become the beginning of something she never saw coming. 30 minutes later, Linda stormed through the Gangnam streets like a hurricane in human form. Her phone buzzed incessantly. Rent due, visa expiring in 57 days. Rachel, her only friend, asked if she was okay. She ignored everything, vision blurred with rage. She fought hard not to let the tears fall. Urban, not the right fit? 3 goddamn years. She muttered, not watching where she was going. She didn't see the crowd ahead parting like the Red Sea. She didn't notice the expensive cars lining the curb or the men in black suits flanking a figure exiting a building. Smack! Linda collided hard into what felt like a wall of muscle and expensive fabric. Her portfolio flew from her hands, designs scattering across the wet pavement from yesterday's rain. Watch where you're going! The words exploded out of her before she even looked up. There was silence, the kind of silence that makes skin prickle and survival instincts scream. She looked up. The man towering over her was carved from ice and fury. Sharp suit sharper than any blade, eyes that could freeze blood, a face that promised violence as easily as most people promised coffee dates. Min Joonwoo. Though Linda didn't know that yet. Behind him, 6 men in black had frozen mid-step, hands moving toward weapons. The crowd had backed up 10 feet like they'd hit an invisible force field. Everyone was staring with naked horror. What did you say? His voice was deadly quiet, the kind of quiet that came before storms. Linda was still too angry to read the room, too angry to notice she'd just stepped into a minefield. She saw her designs, 3 years of work sitting in a puddle. I said watch where you're going. You walked right into me and now… She gestured at the ruined portfolio. You ruined my work. A woman in the crowd actually gasped. An old man pulled his grandson away quickly. One of Joonwoo's men stepped forward, but Joonwoo's hand rose slightly. Everyone froze like he'd hit pause on reality. Do you know who I am? He stepped closer, assessing her like a predator deciding if prey was worth the chase. Linda met his eyes, and every ounce of the day's humiliation fueled her defiance. Do I look like I care? Rich men in expensive suits are all the same. You think the world should part for you, that everyone should bow and scrape. Her voice cracked slightly but held. Well, I'm done bowing. One of his men, later she'd learn his name was Minho, spoke urgently in Korean. Joonwoo Nim, please. Joonwoo didn't break eye contact with Linda. What's your name? Why? So you can complain to my boss? Bitter laugh. Too late. I don't have one anymore. Something flickered across his face. Curiosity? Confusion that she wasn't trembling? You have fire, he said quietly, stepping even closer until she could smell his cologne. Expensive, dark, intoxicating. That's rare. His voice dropped to a whisper only she could hear. But fire in the wrong place burns everything down. You've just made the biggest mistake of your life. Linda's heart pounded, but her chin lifted. Pride and fear were dancing in her chest, and pride was winning. My life is already ruined. What's one more mistake? The crowd was dead silent. Phones were out, recording. This would be viral within minutes. Joonwoo studied her for a long moment, then to Minho, still not looking away from Linda. Find out everything about her. He stepped around her, his suit brushing her shoulder in a contact that sent electricity racing down her spine. His men followed, shooting her looks that ranged from pity to disbelief. The crowd slowly, nervously dispersed. Rachel appeared from nowhere, grabbing Linda's arm with hands that shook. Linda, what the hell did you just do? Linda was still staring after him, adrenaline fading, confusion and the first whisper of fear setting in. Who was that? Rachel's face had gone pale. That was Min Joonwoo. He runs half of Seoul's underground. People don't disrespect him and live to talk about it. Reality crashed down like a building collapse. What? If you're already hooked, smash that like button right now. Because Linda just declared war on a man who's never lost a battle. But here's what she doesn't know yet. Min Joonwoo doesn't just destroy his enemies. Sometimes he becomes obsessed with them. The Min Syndicate headquarters existed in a building that looked legitimate from the outside. Premium office space in Gangnam, the kind that housed tech startups and investment firms. Joonwoo's private office told a different story. Dark wood, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul like a kingdom to be conquered. Art worth millions on walls that had witnessed confessions, betrayals, and blood. Everything meticulously controlled, just like the man who ruled from behind the massive desk. Joonwoo sat there now, fingers steepled, watching footage of the collision on his tablet for almost the 17th time. Minho entered with a file, his face carefully neutral in that way that meant he was deeply concerned. Linda Matthews, 28, American, fashion designer, was, until this morning, fired from Avant Maison. Minho read from the file like it was a threat, assessment, which, in a way, it was. Visa expires in 57 days. No family in Korea. One friend, Rachel Kim. Rent 3 months behind, bank account nearly empty. Joonwoo was still watching the video, watching her eyes flash with defiance, watching her refuse to back down even when she should have been terrified. She didn't know who I am, he said quietly. She's foreign, keeps to herself, works obsessively. She called me a rich man in an expensive suit. Joonwoo's voice held something Minho had never heard before. Fascination. Like I was nothing. Minho shifted uncomfortably. What do you want done? I can have her visa revoked. She'll be deported by... No. The word cut through the room like a blade. Minho's eyebrows rose. No? Joonwoo finally looked up, and his eyes held that dangerous glint that meant he'd made a decision. She has fire, pride. She stood there, life falling apart around her, and still refused to bow. He paused. When was the last time anyone looked at me without fear? Joonwoo. Minho's voice carried warning now. She disrespected you publicly. If you don't respond, it shows weakness. I will respond. Joonwoo closed the file with finality. Just not the way anyone expects. He stood, walked to the window. Avant maison. David Chen has been seeking investment, correct? Minho's face shifted to realization. Yes. They're expanding to New York. They need capital. Buy it, the entire company. I want David Chen's fate in my hands by tomorrow morning. And Linda Matthews? Joonwoo's reflection in the window showed a smile that would have terrified most people. I want to know everything. Where she goes, who she talks to, what makes her cry, what makes her fight. Everything. This isn't like you. Minho's unease was growing. You eliminate problems. You don't study them. Maybe it's time I tried something new. Joonwoo turned back, face unreadable again. She said her life was already ruined. Let's see if she still believes that when I'm done. See, here's the thing about men like Min Joonwoo. They don't know how to just want something. They know how to take it, control it, own it. And Linda? She'd just become his most dangerous obsession. But while Joonwoo was planning his next move, Linda was about to discover that Seoul's underground doesn't forgive, and that her collision had put a target on her back that even she couldn't see coming. Linda and Rachel's shared apartment looked exactly like what it was. Two women barely making it work in one of the world's most expensive cities. Cramped and cluttered with fabric samples and camera equipment. Linda sat on the floor surrounded by ruined designs, trying to salvage something. Anything. Her hands shook as she carefully separated pages that hadn't been completely destroyed. Rachel paced with her phone, reading article after article, her face growing more alarmed with each swipe. Linda, you're trending. Hashtag foreigner insults Min Joonwoo has 200,000 tweets. Rachel's voice pitched higher. People are taking bets on how long you have to live. Linda didn't look up. They're being dramatic. Am I being dramatic? Rachel shoved her phone in Linda's face. Linda read the tweets, and ice formed in her stomach. Min Joonwoo once sent a man's head to his family because he spoke his name without permission. The last person who disrespected him in public was found in the Han River. She's dead. Just doesn't know it yet. Her hands were shaking now. This is insane. It was just... I was angry. I didn't know. That's not how his world works. Rachel was pacing faster now. There's no didn't know. There's only disrespect and consequence. Linda stood, energy crackling through her like lightning. So what do I do? Find him and apologize? Get on my knees and beg for forgiveness? I don't know if that would even help now. The damage is done. It's viral. I lost my job, Rachel. Linda's voice cracked. My visa's expiring. I have nothing left here. And now you're telling me I might actually die because I bumped into the wrong asshole on the worst day of my life? Rachel's expression softened. She pulled Linda into a hug. We'll figure it out. Maybe. Maybe he'll forget. Important men like that, they have bigger problems than... Knock, knock, knock. Both women froze. Did you order food? Rachel whispered. No. The knock was louder. A formal voice was heard from outside. Delivery for Linda Matthews. The women exchanged looks. Rachel grabbed a kitchen knife. Linda's heart hammered as she approached the door. "I didn't order anything," she called out. "It's from Min Joonwoo." Linda's blood turned to ice. Rachel mouthed, "Don't open it." But Linda's anger was already flaring again, because fear and rage were twins in her, and rage always won the fight. She yanked the door open. A young man in a black suit stood there holding a large box and an envelope. He bowed slightly, professionally. "For you, Miss Matthews. Mr. Min insists you open it tonight." He left before she could respond, disappearing down the stairs like a ghost. Linda brought the box inside with hands that couldn't stay steady. "Could be a bomb," Rachel said, only half joking. Only one way to find out. Inside the parcel was her ruined designs. Every single one was professionally restored, cleaned, and mounted in a leather portfolio that screamed luxury. There was an envelope which contained a single card in elegant script. "Your fire deserves a better canvas than a puddle. Consider this an apology for my carelessness, and a reminder that I always pay my debts." MJ, below it, a business card. Avant Maison. Under new management. Linda read it 3 times, her brain refusing to process. What? What does this mean? Rachel was looking at her phone, face draining of all color. Oh my God. Linda. Min Joonwoo just bought Avant Maison. It's all over the news. Full acquisition. Purchased it 2 hours ago. He bought... Linda couldn't finish the sentence. He bought an entire fashion company? David Chen is out. They're announcing a new creative director tomorrow morning and... Rachel looked up, horror and realization mixing on her face. Linda, this is about you. He bought your old company because of you. Linda sank onto the couch, the restored portfolio in her lap like evidence of a crime she didn't understand. Why would he do that? To fire me again? To humiliate me? Or... Rachel's voice dropped. Or to own you? Men like him don't do anything small. If he's interested, he doesn't just ask you out. He rearranges the world until you have no choice but to be in his orbit. Linda stared at the card with his initials. Fear coiled in her stomach. Here's a lesson Linda was about to learn the hard way. When a man like Min Joonwoo decides he wants something, the universe itself bends. And he'd just decided he wanted her. But Linda had no idea that this was just the beginning. That Joonwoo's apology was actually the opening move in a game she didn't know she was playing, a game where the stakes were her heart, her freedom, and possibly her life. You won't believe what Joonwoo does next, but first, are you subscribed? Because this story is about to get so much more intense, and you don't want to miss a single moment of Linda and Joonwoo's twisted dance. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications now. That night, Linda didn't sleep. She sat on her bed staring at the portfolio, at the card, running through scenarios until her brain felt like static. Run? Where? Back to Atlanta with her tail between her legs, dreams dead? And then what? She struggled on the bed till dawn. As she got up to do her chores, her phone rang and it was an unknown number. She let it ring out. It rang again immediately. She answered it. Hello? Her voice came out steadier than she felt. Miss Matthews. Male voice. Cold efficiency. This is Kang Min-ho. Mr. Min requests your presence at Avant Maison headquarters this morning, 10 a.m. Her heart skipped. And if I refuse? A hint of amusement colored his tone. He anticipated that question. He asked me to remind you that your visa expires in 57 days, and that he's now the largest employer in Seoul's fashion district. Your move. The line went dead. Rachel, who'd heard everything, looked at Linda with worried eyes. That's a threat wrapped in an invitation. If I go, I'm playing his game. If you don't go, you're out of options. Rachel sat beside her. Linda, maybe. Maybe this is good. He restored your work. He bought the company that fired you. Maybe he's trying to make amends. Or he's trying to control me, to own me. Then go and show him you can't be owned. Rachel grabbed her hands. You've never backed down from a fight in your life. Don't start now. Avant Maison headquarters. 9:57 a.m. The building Linda was escorted out of yesterday now felt foreign. Employees whispered, staring at her as she passed. Security guards who'd watched her humiliation now bowed slightly. It was surreal, like stepping into a parallel universe. She was led to the top floor, the executive suite, the creative director's domain. The door opened. Joonwoo sat behind what used to be David's desk, looking utterly at home in a space that should feel foreign to him. Perfectly tailored suit, hair styled with careless precision, eyes that tracked her every movement like a predator watching prey. Minho stood by the window, face unreadable. "You're 3 minutes late," Joonwoo said without looking up from documents he was reviewing. Linda refused to be intimidated. "You didn't exactly give me much notice. Yet you came." He finally looked up, and something that might have been a smile ghosted across his face. "Curious. You didn't leave me much choice. That's called coercion, not curiosity." Strong words for someone in your position. "And what position is that?" Linda stepped forward. "Jobless? Visa expiring? At the mercy of a man who buys companies like toys?" Joonwoo stood, moving around the desk with controlled grace. "At the mercy of a man who sees potential where others saw a problem to discard." "Don't pretend this is altruism." Her voice hardened. "You didn't buy Avant Maison to help me. So what do you want?" Direct. He was closer now, studying her like she was a puzzle he was determined to solve. "I like that. Most people spend hours dancing around questions with me, terrified of saying the wrong thing. You lead with accusations." "You haven't answered my question." "You insulted me publicly, made me look weak." His voice dropped. "In my world, that has consequences." Linda's heart raced, but her chin lifted. "So this is revenge? You bought a company just to fire me yourself? Seems expensive." "No." He walked to a portfolio on the side table, her restored work, and opened it carefully. "I bought a company to give you a choice." He turned pages slowly, and Linda saw her designs displayed like art in a gallery. "Your work is exceptional, bold, unapologetic. Everything David Chen was too afraid to embrace. He called it urban." Joonwoo looked at her. "I call it revolutionary." Linda felt off balance. "What?" "Avant Maison needs a new creative direction, a new vision, someone brave enough to challenge conventions." His eyes held hers. "I'm offering you creative director." Silence. Linda's brain short-circuited. "You're... what?" Minho spoke for the first time, voice flat. "Mr. Min is offering you David Chen's former position, full creative control, triple your previous salary, visa sponsorship, your own team." "Why?" Linda's suspicion flooded back like a tidal wave. "Because talent like yours shouldn't be wasted." Joonwoo stepped closer. "Because you stood in front of me yesterday, world crashing down, and refused to break. That's who I want leading this company." "And what do you get out of this?" His smile was dangerous, beautiful, terrifying. The satisfaction of watching David Chen's face when the woman he called not the right fit becomes his boss. And, "You owe me." The words were soft but absolute. "For the disrespect. For the public humiliation. This." He gestured to the office, the view, the opportunity. "Is you paying me back? You work for me now. In every way that matters." And there it was. The trap beneath the gilded offer. "So I trade one boss who dismissed me for another who wants to own me." "I don't want to own you, Linda." He was very close now. close enough that she could see gold flecks in his dark eyes. I want to see what you can do when you're finally given the resources you deserve. But yes, you'll owe me. And I always collect my debts. And if I refuse, then you leave Korea with nothing. No job, no visa, no future in fashion, because I'll make sure every design house in Seoul knows you rejected my generosity. His voice dropped lower. Or, you accept, prove everyone who doubted you wrong, and see where this fire of yours can take you when it's not being suffocated. This is insane. This is opportunity. What you do with it is up to you. And there's the trap. Beautifully laid. Joonwoo wasn't giving Linda a job. He was giving her a golden cage. The question was, would her pride let her see it in time? Or would her hunger to prove herself blind her to the cost? Linda's mind raced through possibilities, consequences, escape routes. But every path led back to the same conclusion. She was out of options. I need time to think. You have until Monday. Joonwoo returned to his desk, dismissing her like a king dismissing a subject. Oh, and Linda? She turned at the door. David Chen is still here, demoted to junior assistant. I thought you might enjoy that detail. The cruelty and the justice of it hit her at once. Linda walked out of that office with the offer of a lifetime in one hand and a deal with the devil in the other. But what she didn't know was that accepting Joonwoo's offer would pull her into a world where every kindness had teeth, every gift had strings, and falling for her enemy might be the most dangerous thing she ever did. Trendy Cafe in Gangnam. That afternoon, Linda sat alone, untouched coffee going cold. Her mind was a war zone, pride fighting practicality, anger battling desperation. Is this seat taken? Linda looked up to find a young woman with bright eyes and designer clothes standing there with a megawatt smile. Actually, I'm perfect. I hate drinking alone. She sat anyway, radiating cheerful energy. I'm so young. And you're Linda Matthews, the girl who told the girl who went viral for standing up to that scary mafia guy. Linda's guard went up. That's me. Viral for all the wrong reasons. Wrong reasons? Are you kidding? So Young's enthusiasm seemed genuine. You're my hero. Do you know how many people in this city bow and scrape to powerful men, and you just... She mimicked Linda's dismissive gesture. Watch where you're going. Iconic. Despite everything, Linda smiled slightly. I thought I was going to die. But you didn't. You're here. You're alive. And according to the internet, Min Joonwoo bought your old company. So Young leaned in conspiratorially. That's either revenge or something else. I can't figure out which. Want my opinion? So Young didn't wait for an answer. Men like that, powerful, used to getting their way, they don't know how to handle a woman who doesn't fall at their feet. It confuses them, and confusion leads to obsession. Linda studied this stranger. You seem to know a lot about powerful men. Something flickered in So-young's eyes. I grew up around them. Trust me, I know the type. She shifted topics smoothly. So what are you going to do? Take the job? How did you? Please. Why else would he buy the company? He wants you close. Question is, why do you want to stay? Linda found herself being honest. Because I'm tired of running, tired of being dismissed. This is my chance to prove everyone wrong. Even if it means owing him, I'll find a way to not owe him anything. So Young laughed, bright and genuine. Oh, I like you. We should be friends. She wrote her number on a napkin. Call me. You're going to need someone who understands what it's like to navigate dangerous men. Why are you being so nice to me? You don't know me. So Young stood to leave, something sad crossing her face. Because I see myself in you, a woman trying to exist in a world that wants to control her. Plus, something tells me your story with Mr. Scary Mafia Boss is just beginning. She smiled. And I never miss a good story. She left. Linda stared at the number, not knowing that So-young was Min Joonwoo's sister, that every word of their chance meeting would be reported back. What Linda didn't know was that So-young was Min Joonwoo's sister, that every word of their chance meeting had been reported back to him, that she'd just made a friend who was also a spy. But then again, So-young didn't know that she was about to become the one person who'd fight for Linda when the real danger came. Funny how deception can birth the truest loyalty. Weekend. Linda's apartment. Rachel watched Linda pace for what felt like the 100th time. Just decide, yes or no. It's not that simple. It literally is. Take the job, don't take the job. Linda spun on her. If I take it, I'm in his debt. If I don't, I leave Korea with nothing. My dream's dead. My father's money wasted 3 years for absolutely nothing. Rachel softened. Then take it. Use his resources. Build your name. Then leave on your terms. You think it'll be that easy? Men like him don't let go of what they want. And women like you don't stay owned. Rachel grabbed her shoulders. Linda, you're the strongest person I know. If anyone can take this opportunity and not lose herself, it's you. Linda's phone buzzed. Text message from an unknown number. Monday, 9 a.m. I'll take your silence as a yes. MJ. Arrogant man, Linda muttered. I didn't even... But you're going to say yes, Rachel said quietly. We both know it. Linda sank onto the couch. Yeah, I am. Then stop fighting the decision and start planning how you're going to make it work for you. Monday morning, avant maison, 8:55 a.m. Linda arrived exactly 5 minutes early. If she was doing this, she was doing it on her terms. Employees stared. Whispers followed her like shadows. She was led to the creative director's office, which was her office now. Inside, Joonwoo, Minho, and a legal team that looked like they were charged by the breath. Contract, read it, sign it. They didn't even greet. Linda sat and read carefully. Years of watching her father review contracts had taught her to spot the traps. This says I report directly to you, not a board, not investors. You. Problem? It also says you have final approval on all major decisions. So I don't actually have creative control? You do. Joonwoo's lips curved slightly. I have veto power. If you're as good as I think you are, I'll never need to use it. And if you do? Then we'll have our first real fight. His eyes glinted. I'm looking forward to it. Linda read further, feeling the cage tighten with every clause. 5-year contract. I can't leave for 5 years? You can leave, with a 50 million won penalty and a non-compete clause that bars you from fashion for 10 years. Linda looked up sharply. This is a cage. This is security, commitment, proof you're not running at the first difficulty. Or proof you want to control every aspect of my life. Joonwoo leaned forward, elbows on the desk. Sign it or don't. But decide now. Minho watched. The lawyers waited. The room held its collective breath. Linda thought of David Chen's face, of 3 years of dismissed ideas, of every time she was called too much, or not the right fit, of her dreams dying in a puddle on a Seoul street. She signed. Welcome to Avant Maison, Director Matthews. Don't celebrate yet. Linda stood, meeting his eyes. You might regret this. I never regret my investments, and you, Linda, are my most intriguing one yet. If you're enjoying this twisted power play, smash that like button. Because Linda just signed away 5 years of her life to a man she barely knows, a man who's dangerous, obsessed, and now legally tied to her every professional move. Linda's new office. Moments later, the space was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. Modern furniture that probably cost more than her entire apartment. her restored designs already framed on the walls like she'd been here for years. It was everything she'd dreamed of, and it felt like a beautiful trap. Minho entered without knocking, a power play she noted. "Mr. Min wants you at his club tonight, 8 p.m. Dress appropriately." "Excuse me. Key investors, you'll be introduced as the new creative director." "I just started. I haven't even met my team yet." "Your team has been assembled and is waiting in conference room A. You have 3 hours to prepare a vision pitch for tonight." Minho's smile was cold. Mr. Min doesn't tolerate excuses. "I don't work for him socially, only professionally." "Read your contract again. Clause 17. Required attendance at all company and investor events. Tonight is both." He headed for the door. 8 p.m. Don't be late." Linda wanted to scream. Conference room A. 10:30 a.m. Linda entered to find 12 designers, all Korean, all staring at her with varying degrees of skepticism and resentment. And sitting in the corner, looking miserable, David Chen, demoted, forced to watch his replacement. The poetic justice was almost enough to make her smile. "I know what you're thinking." Linda addressed the room directly. "I'm only here because of connections." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the team. "You're right. I am foreign, but I'm not unproven. And I didn't ask for those connections. They came to me after I spent 3 years being invisible in this very building." She pulled up her designs on the screen. "I'm not here to make you comfortable. I'm here to make Avant Maison relevant again, to stop chasing trends and start setting them." Her voice strengthened. "You can either help me do that, or you can resist and watch me do it anyway. Your choice." A senior designer, probably early 40s, spoke up skeptically. "Mr. Min chose you because you insulted him, then stood your ground. That's ego, not talent." "Maybe." Linda held his gaze. "Or maybe he saw something in my work that David Chen was too afraid to see. Something bold, something different, something that doesn't apologize for taking up space." She looked directly at David, who seemed to shrink further into himself. "We have 3 hours to create a pitch that will make investors open their wallets. I need ideas. Real ones. Or are you all too comfortable playing it safe?" Silence stretched. Then a young designer raised her hand tentatively. "What if we did a collection inspired by diaspora, the beauty of not belonging to one place but carrying many places with you?" Linda's face lit up. "Yes. More. Give me more." Ideas started flowing. Slowly at first, then faster. Linda conducted it like music, pulling threads together, pushing them further. Even the skeptics got pulled into the creative current. David sat in the corner, watching the woman he'd fired command the room he used to own. See, here's what Linda understood that David never did. Creativity doesn't come from safety. It comes from the raw, uncomfortable edges of being other. And she was about to turn that otherness into Avant Maison's greatest weapon. That evening, Eclipse Nightclub, 8 p.m. The club was exclusive in that way that screamed danger masked as luxury. Beautiful people, expensive drinks, and underneath it all, the hum of power and violence, barely contained. Linda arrived in a simple black dress, elegant but defiant in its simplicity. She refused to try too hard for anyone. Joonwoo spotted her immediately. He was surrounded by men in expensive suits, but his attention fixed on her like a laser the moment she entered. He approached, and the crowd parted for him instinctively. "You came." "Contractually obligated," Linda replied. "Most people would pretend enthusiasm." "I'm not most people." His eyes held something that might have been admiration. "No, you're really not." He offered his arm. "Come, meet the wolves who keep the city running." She hesitated. Taking his arm felt like crossing a line, but refusing felt like showing weakness. She took it. The contact sent electricity through both of them. Neither acknowledged it. He introduced her to investors, CEOs, politicians. Men who smiled with shark teeth and assessed her like a commodity. She held her own, pitching her vision with fire and precision. They were impressed despite themselves. "Where did you find her?" one investor asked Joonwoo, loud enough for Linda to hear. "She's magnetic." Joonwoo's eyes never left Linda. "She found me, or rather, collided into me." Linda's jaw tightened. Then David Chen entered the club. He was invited specifically to witness his replacement's triumph. His face when he saw Linda was pure devastation. Joonwoo noticed. Of course he noticed. "David Essie? You know Director Matthews, of course." David's politeness was forced. "Director Matthews?" "David." Linda's voice stayed steady. "How's the assistant position treating you?" "Fine." Joonwoo turned to the investors, voice carrying. "David here taught me a valuable lesson. Sometimes what looks urban to narrow eyes is actually visionary to those brave enough to see it. Thank you, David, for your short-sightedness." Laughter erupted. David's humiliation was complete. He left quickly, unable to withstand more. Linda should have felt victorious. Instead, she felt used. Like Joonwoo's weapon. Later. Eclipse 5 IP section. Linda sat alone in a corner, needing air from the performance. Joonwoo found her. Of course he did. "You did well tonight." "You humiliated him," Linda said without looking at him. "He humiliated you first." "So this is revenge? You orchestrated all of this just to make David Chen suffer?" "No." Joonwoo sat beside her. "I did it to show you what happens when someone disrespects what's mine." Linda stood immediately. "I'm not yours." He stood too, close enough that she had to tilt her head to meet his eyes. "You signed a contract that says otherwise. Professionally, not. The line between those things is thinner than you think. This was a mistake, all of it." She turned to leave. His hand caught her wrist, not hard but firm enough to stop her. "You feel it too. This pull, this electricity." His voice dropped. "Don't lie to me, Linda." Her heart was racing. Feeling something doesn't mean acting on it. You're dangerous. You hurt people. You bought a company like it was nothing. Destroyed a man's career for fun. I gave you justice. I gave you power. You gave me a cage and called it a gift. Then break out of it. Fight me. Challenge me." His eyes burned. "But stop pretending you don't feel this. I saw you watching me tonight. The same way I couldn't stop watching you." Linda pulled her wrist free. "You don't know me. You don't know what I feel. Then tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you feel nothing, and I'll never touch you again." She wanted to lie. She needed to lie. "I can't." Exactly. And there it was. The moment Linda's fire met Joonwoo's ice, and neither could deny the explosion it created. But admitting attraction and surrendering to it are two very different things. And Linda was about to learn that in Joonwoo's world, even feelings could be weaponized. But while Linda and Joonwoo were circling each other like beautifully matched predators, someone was watching. Someone who saw Linda as a weakness to exploit. And that someone was about to make a move that would turn this twisted attraction into a fight for survival. Next day, avant maison. Linda threw herself into work, trying to ignore the memory of Joonwoo's hand on her wrist, his words, "Stop pretending you don't feel this." After an hour of tedious work, she decided to get coffee at the shop. So-young appeared at her table with coffee, bright smile in place. "You look like you haven't slept." "I haven't." So-young entered, closing the door. "Let me guess. The scary mafia boss is under your skin." Linda's defenses went up. "He's my boss, that's all." "Linda, I've known men like him my whole life. They don't just hire people, they collect them." So-young sat across from her. You're a new acquisition. Then I'll find a way to uncollect myself. So-young's expression turned serious. Can I give you some advice? From someone who's watched powerful men operate? Please, don't fight him head-on, you'll lose. But don't surrender either. So-young leaned forward. Find the cracks in his armor. Learn what scares him. Then use it not to destroy him. That's impossible. But to carve out your own space where he can't reach you. What scares a man like Min Joonwoo? So-young's voice went quiet. Loss of control. Caring about something more than power. Vulnerability. She looked at Linda meaningfully. You scare him, Linda, because you make him feel things he can't control. That's your weapon if you're smart enough to use it. Who are you really? So-young smiled sadly. A friend? Isn't that enough? Before Linda could press, her phone rang. Joonwoo. My office. Now. I'm working on... Now, Linda. He hung up. So-young raised her eyebrows. And so it begins. Go. But remember, you have more power than you think. Joonwoo's office. Min Syndicate HQ. This wasn't Avant Maison. This was his real domain. Dark wood, leather, the scent of expensive cologne and barely concealed violence. Linda had never been here. The fact that he'd summoned her here, not the fashion company, sent a message. Minho stood guard. Joonwoo sat behind his desk, face unreadable. Sit. Linda remained standing. I have work. What do you want? Detective Huang came to see me this morning, organized crime unit. Joonwoo's voice was controlled. He's building a case, and he's decided you're his way in. What? Minho stepped forward. He knows you're the new creative director, knows you have access to Joonwoo. He thinks you're vulnerable. A foreigner in over her head. Someone he can flip. Linda sank into a chair, reality hitting. He wants me to... spy on you? He'll approach you soon. Make it seem like saving you. Tell you I'm dangerous, which I am. Offer you protection if you cooperate. And what do you want me to do? Joonwoo's answer shocked her. Whatever you choose. What? I won't force you to lie to police. I won't make you complicit in my world. His eyes held hers. If you want to, cooperate with Detective Huang. Do it. But know the consequences. Which are? I'll disappear from your life completely. The contract will be dissolved. You'll get a generous severance and visa sponsorship elsewhere. But we'll never speak again. His voice dropped. This, whatever this is between us, ends. Linda felt like the ground was shifting. You're giving me a choice? I'm giving you the truth. I'm involved in things you don't want to know about. Things I can't and won't explain. He stood, came around the desk. Choosing me means accepting that darkness exists in my life. Choosing him means safety, clarity, and the moral high ground. This is insane. I barely know you. Why would you even care if I... Because I can't stop thinking about you. The confession came out rough. Because you walked into my world accidentally, and now I can't imagine it without you in it. Because you're the first person in a decade who made me feel something other than control. He paused. But I won't trap you in my darkness. So choose, Linda. The light or the shadow. The detective or the devil. And there's the moment. The fork in the road. One path led to safety, normalcy, the morally defensible choice. The other led into darkness with a man who'd just admitted he was obsessed with her. What would you choose? Drop a comment. Let's continue. Linda's voice shook. I need time. You have until Detective Huang finds you, which, knowing him, will be today. Coffee shop near Avant Maison, afternoon. Linda sat alone, mind spinning with impossible choices. Then Detective Huang stepped in. He had kind eyes and warm smile. Linda Matthews, I'm Detective Huang. May I sit? Linda's guard went up immediately. I know who you are. He sat anyway, polite but determined. Then you know why I'm here. You're in danger. Min Joonwoo is not what he seems. He seems exactly like what he is. Dangerous, powerful, controlling. Then why are you working for him? Because he offered me an opportunity no one else would. Detective Huang's expression turned pitying. Opportunities from men like him come with invisible chains. I've seen it before. Talented, strong people who think they can handle his world. And then, one day, they're in too deep. Complicit. Trapped. I'm not trapped. Not yet. But you will be. Unless you help me stop him first. You want me to spy on him. I want you to save yourself. Huang leaned forward earnestly. And maybe help me take down an organization that's hurt countless people. Do you know what the Min Syndicate does? Human trafficking, drug distribution, money laundering, murder. Linda's stomach turned. He runs a fashion company and nightclubs. That's the front. Underneath is rot. And you're being pulled into it whether you realize it or not. Why should I trust you? Because I'm offering you a way out with no strings. Work with me. Give me information about his operations, his meetings, his patterns. And when I bring him down, you'll be protected. New identity if needed. Clean slate. And if I refuse? Detective Huang looked genuinely sad. Then I hope you're prepared for what loving a monster costs. Because that's where this is heading, isn't it? You're not just his employee. He's obsessed with you. And men like him? Their obsessions end in tragedy. He left a card on the table. Call me when you're ready to choose the right side. And now Linda had both offers on the table. The devil she was drawn to and the angel trying to save her. But here's the thing about devils and angels. Sometimes the angel's halo is just good PR. And sometimes the devil's horns hide scars from fighting worse monsters. That night, Linda's apartment, Rachel found Linda surrounded by Joonwoo's contract, Detective Huang's card, and half a bottle of wine. Okay, talk to me. Linda explained everything. The choice. The detective. Joonwoo's confession. Oh my God. Rachel sat heavily. He basically said he's falling for you. He said he can't stop thinking about me. That's obsession, not love. With men like him, maybe they're the same thing. That's terrifying. So what are you going to do? I don't know. The right thing is obvious, right? Help the detective. Get away from Joonwoo. Then why haven't you called Huang yet? Because... Linda trailed off. Because you feel it too. Whatever this is between you and Joonwoo. I don't even like him. He's arrogant, controlling, manipulative, and magnetic, and honest in his own twisted way, and gave you justice when no one else would. By ruining someone's life. Someone who ruined yours first. Rachel grabbed her hands. Look, I'm not saying fall for the mafia boss, but I am saying maybe the world isn't as black and white as a detective with kind eyes wants you to believe. A sharp knock interrupted them. Both women froze. Linda opened the door to find So-young looking distressed. We need to talk. Now. How do you know where I live? So-young entered quickly. Because my brother told me. Your brother? Min Joonwoo, I'm his sister. And before you get angry, I genuinely do like you. That part wasn't a lie. Rachel's eyes went wide. Oh my God, Linda's life is a K-drama. Linda backed away. You've been spying on me this whole time? Yes, at first. But then I got to know you and... Look, that doesn't matter right now. So-young's urgency was palpable. What matters is Detective Huang. He approached you today, didn't he? How do you... Because he's predictable. And because Joonwoo told me what he told you this morning, that you have a choice. Did he send you here to convince me to choose him? No. He'd kill me if he knew I was here. So-young sat. I came to tell you the truth about my brother. The parts he won't tell you himself. Why would you betray him? Because I love him. So Young's voice cracked. And I've watched him turn into ice for 7 years after our father died. I've watched him trust no one, feel nothing, control everything. And then you crashed into him. Literally. And for the first time since I was 19, I saw him feel something real. Obsession it's not just obsession. He's terrified, Linda, of you, of what you make him feel. So Young met her eyes. He offered you that choice because he's trying to be better than his nature. Do you know how rare that is for someone like him? Detective Huang says he's a monster. Trafficking, drugs, murder. So Young's face hardened. My brother is many things. A criminal, yes. But human trafficking? No. That's the Kang Syndicate, our rival. Joonwoo's been quietly dismantling their operation for 2 years. Detective Huang doesn't care about that nuance. He wants all syndicates gone, good and bad. There's no such thing as a good crime syndicate. Maybe not. But there are degrees. So Young leaned forward. Joonwoo runs nightclubs, handles money laundering for corporations avoiding taxes, manages underground gambling, not great, but also not trafficking humans. He has lines he won't cross. Why are you telling me this? Because if you're going to choose, you deserve the full truth. Yes, he's dangerous. Yes, his world is dark. So Young's voice softened. But he's also the man who spent 3 hours personally restoring your designs because he couldn't stand the thought of your work being destroyed. Who bought a company not for revenge, but to give you the power you deserved? Who gave you a choice to leave even though it's killing him? Linda was quiet. What does he want from me? I don't think even he knows. He's never wanted anything but power and control before. Your new territory. Rachel spoke up. If she chooses him, what happens? So Young looked at Linda seriously. Her life gets complicated, dangerous. She'll be pulled into a world most people don't survive with their souls intact. But, she paused. She might also discover that love in the darkness can be the fiercest kind. The kind that burns so bright it redeems. Sometimes the truth comes from the least expected source. Joonwoo's sister just gave Linda the missing pieces, but pieces of a puzzle don't make the decision easier, they just make the stakes clearer. Next day, the collision site Linda had been walking for hours, phone off, mind at war. She ended up at the spot where she and Joonwoo first collided. The puddle was dry now. Her phone, finally turned on, rang immediately. Joonwoo. Where are you? Where we met. Stay there. 10 minutes later, his car pulled up. He got out alone. No Minho, no guards. Just him. Have you decided? Linda studied him. Why did you restore my designs yourself? So Young said you spent 3 hours on it. Joonwoo paused. Because I understand what it's like to have your work dismissed. My father never believed I could lead. Thought I was too soft, too strategic, not brutal enough. When he died, everyone expected the syndicate to fall. I spent 3 years proving them wrong. His eyes held hers. Those designs, they were your proof. I couldn't let them be destroyed. Detective Huang says you're a monster. I am. In many ways. So Young says you have lines you won't cross. I do. But I've crossed plenty of others. Why give me a choice? You could have forced me, threatened me. Because I've spent 7 years forcing the world to bend to my will. And it's made me powerful, feared, alone. His voice roughened. You were the first person who didn't bend, who stood there in your fire and refused to be diminished. I can't force that. I can only hope you choose it. Choose me, even knowing what I am. This is insane. I've known you a week. I knew you were different the second you insulted me. Sometimes a moment is enough. What if I choose the detective? Choose safety? Joonwoo's voice went rough. Then I let you go. And I try to remember what it felt like to feel something. Before you leave, and I forget again. Linda stepped closer. You're really willing to lose me rather than trap me? I learned from my father's death that controlling everything means protecting nothing. If I cage you, I'll kill everything I find fascinating about you. His eyes were intense. So yes, I'll let you go. Even if it destroys me. And there it is. The moment of truth. Linda could walk away. Choose the moral high ground, the safety of Detective Huang's offer. Or she could step into the fire with a man who terrified and captivated her in equal measure. Linda took a breath. I'm not choosing the detective. Hope flickered across Joonwoo's face. Linda. But I'm not choosing blindly either. I want the truth. All of it. What you really do. What dangers exist. What being with you actually means. If I tell you everything, you become complicit. There's no going back. Then tell me. Let me decide with my eyes open. Joonwoo studied her for a long moment. Get in the car. Driving through Seoul, Joonwoo's voice was steady, methodical. My father built the Min Syndicate on fear and violence. When he died, I rebuilt it on strategy and information. I run nightclubs that are fronts for money laundering. I manage underground gambling rings. I broker deals between corporations and politicians that skirt legality. He paused. I've hurt people who threatened my operation. I've killed, though not often and never innocents. Linda absorbed this. And the trafficking Huang mentioned? That's the Kang Syndicate, my rival. I've been systematically destroying their trafficking routes for 2 years. Not for altruism, for territory. But the result is the same. Hundreds of people freed. So you're a criminal with a conscience? I'm a criminal who knows where the line is, and who's trying to push the Kangs over it so the authorities have no choice but to eliminate them. Why tell me this? Because you asked for truth, and because if you're mine, you're a target. He pulled the car over, turned to face her. The Kangs will eventually notice you. Detective Huang will pressure you. My enemies will try to use you against me. That's a hell of a sales pitch. I'm not selling, I'm warning. His hand reached for hers. Being with me puts you in danger. But I swear on everything I am that I'll protect you with my life. That no one will touch you without going through me first. And if I still choose this? Choose you? Then you're mine. And I'm yours. In every way that matters. Linda's hand was shaking as she reached for his. Then I guess I'm choosing the devil I'm drawn to over the angel that bores me. Their hands touched. Electricity sparked between them. Linda, once we do this, shut up and kiss me before I change my mind. He did. The kiss was fire and ice colliding, 7 days of tension exploding into this moment. It was desperate and claiming and terrifying and perfect. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. You're going to drive me insane, Joonwoo said. Good. You deserve it. Okay, who else is screaming right now? Linda just chose the mafia boss over the detective. She just kissed the man who's been obsessed with her. Hit that like button if you're living for this dark romance energy. But while Linda and Joonwoo were finally giving in to this twisted attraction, Detective Huang was watching. And he'd just decided that if Linda wouldn't help him take down Joonwoo willingly, he'd force her hand. The real game was about to begin. Next day. Avant maison. Linda arrived to whispers and stares. Someone had seen her with Joonwoo. Someone always saw. Rachel had rushed to meet her and intercepted her in the hallway, grabbing her arm. You choose him? Linda was surprised at the urgency of the question. I chose him. And what's happening? Oh, Linda. Don't. I know what I'm doing. Do you? Rachel's face was worried. Because Detective Huang came by the apartment this morning looking for you. He knows. Linda's stomach dropped. Knows what? That you chose. Joonwoo over cooperating. He was cold. Said you'd made a grave mistake. Rachel pulled out a document. HD left this. It was a warrant for Joonwoo's arrest, dated for next month. Pending investigation. He's showing me this as a threat. He's showing you the consequences. If you're with Joonwoo when this hits, you're collateral damage. Joonwoo's office. Afternoon. Linda burst in, warrant in hand. Minho tried to stop her, but Joonwoo waved him off. Hwang's coming for you. He has a warrant. Joonwoo was unsurprised. I know. I've known for weeks. And you didn't tell me? I told you the truth about my world. This is part of it. Investigations, raids, near misses. His voice was calm. It's Tuesday. Don't joke. If he arrests you, he won't. He doesn't have enough evidence. This warrant is pressure, trying to make me slip up, make my people nervous. He showed this to me as a message. That being with you makes me a target. Joonwoo stood, pulling her close. Yes, it does. I warned you. I don't care about the warning. Linda's voice rose. I care that you're in danger and acting like it's nothing. Joonwoo looked genuinely surprised. Are you worried about me? Of course I'm worried. You idiotic, arrogant. He kissed her. Softer this time. Tender. No one's worried about me in 7 years. Feared me, obeyed me, respected me. But worried? His thumb brushed her cheek. Never worried. Well, get used to it, because I didn't choose you just to watch you get arrested. Minho cleared his throat from the doorway. If you two are done with the dramatic declarations, we have a problem. The Kang Syndicate knows about Linda. Both turned. What? Joonwoo's voice went deadly. They've seen the social media posts. Know she's important to you. Kang Min-seok sent a message. Your new weakness has a pretty face. Shame if something happened to it. Linda felt fear creep in. Who's Kang Min-seok? Joonwoo's jaw tightened, controlled fury radiating from him. My rival, the trafficker. And he just made the worst mistake of his life. So let's take stock. Linda just chose the most dangerous man in Seoul. Detective Hwang is threatening legal destruction. And now a trafficker with a grudge knows Linda is Joonwoo's weakness. If you thought this story was intense before, baby, we're just getting started. What Linda didn't know was that Kang Min-seok didn't make empty threats, and Joonwoo's protective fury was about to start a war that would put everyone she loved in the crossfire, including his own sister. That night, Joonwoo's private penthouse. You're staying here until this is over. Linda spun on him. I have an apartment, a life. Which Kang now knows everything about. He knows where you live, where you work, your routines. You're not safe. So your solution is to lock me in a tower? My solution is to keep you alive. Minho entered with Rachel, who was carrying hastily packed bags and looking terrified. He sent armed men to our apartment, Rachel said shakily. Told me to pack your stuff and come here. This is insane, Linda. Linda turned on Joonwoo. You can't just kidnap my best friend. I'm protecting her too. Kang will use anyone close to you. I didn't sign up for Mafia Wars. Rachel's voice pitched higher. Minho's response was flat. None of us did. It's the life. So-young entered, designer bag over her shoulder. Oh good. You're all here. One big happy hostage family. So-young, what are you doing here? Joonwoo demanded. You think I'm safer at my apartment? Kang knows I'm your sister. I'm a target too. Joonwoo turned to Minho, fury barely contained. How did this happen? You fell for someone, made her important. Kang exploited it. Minho's voice was careful. This is what happens when you have weaknesses. I'm not a weakness. Linda's anger flared. I'm a person. Joonwoo's voice cut through. Watch your mouth, Minho. She's not a weakness. She's... He looked at Linda. Everything. Silence crashed over the room. Rachel whispered to Linda. Did the scary mafia boss just declare love? So-young grinned despite the tension. Oh, he absolutely did. About time, Appa. Joonwoo ignored them, focused solely on Linda. I need you to trust me. For the next few days, I'm going to eliminate the Kang threat. But I need to know you're safe while I do it. Please, let me protect you. Linda saw his desperation. What are you going to do? What I should have done 2 years ago. End them completely. And there's the declaration of war. Joonwoo was about to burn down the Kang syndicate not for territory, not for power, but for the woman who'd crashed into his life and stolen the heart he'd forgotten he had. Joonwoo's penthouse. Over the next 3 days, the women were trapped together. Linda, Rachel, and So-young. Guards everywhere. Joonwoo came and went. Phone always ringing, tension radiating from him like heat. That evening, Rachel, Linda, and So-young sat in the massive living room, awkward silence finally breaking. So this is your life now? Rachel asked. Luxury prison? So-young laughed. Welcome to loving a Min. It's all penthouses and death threats. I don't love him, Linda protested. Both women turned to her with identical skeptical looks. Yes, you do. I barely know him. You know enough, So-young said. You know he's dangerous, controlling, obsessed with you, and you chose him anyway. That's love. Stupid, reckless love. Rachel nodded. She's not wrong. Whose side are you on? Reality's side. You look at him like he's oxygen. He looks at you like you're the first real thing he's seen in years. Rachel made a face. It's honestly disgusting how intense it is. So-young leaned forward. My brother's never looked at anyone the way he looks at you. He's terrified of losing you. I've never seen him afraid before. Good. Linda lifted her chin. He should be afraid. I'm terrifying. They laughed, and the tension broke. Later that night, Linda couldn't sleep. She wandered to Joonwoo's office and found him there, exhausted, surrounded by papers and glowing laptop screens. You haven't slept. He didn't look up. Can't. Every hour I waste is an hour Kang plans. Come to bed. That made him look up, surprise evident. We haven't. I didn't bring you here for that. I know. I'm asking you to sleep. Actual sleep. You're no good exhausted. I can't shut my brain off. Linda walked behind him, hands settling on his tense shoulders. Then let me help. She massaged his shoulders. He tensed at first, a man used to controlling everything, now surrendering to her touch. Slowly, he relaxed. Why did you really choose me? His voice was quiet. Because you scare me and excite me in equal measure. Because you gave me a choice when you could have forced me. Because underneath all this ice, I see fire. She leaned down, lips near his ear. And I want to know what happens when your fire meets mine. We might burn everything down. Or we might forge something unbreakable. He pulled her around, into his lap, eyes intense. I meant what I said. You're everything. If Kang touches you... Linda pressed a finger to his lips. He won't. Because you won't let him. I trust you. Joonwoo looked struck. You shouldn't. Too late. They kissed. Slower this time. Less desperation, more inevitability. Like gravity finally pulling them together where they belonged. Sometimes the quiet moments between the chaos are when the real connection forms, when guards drop and truth lives. This was that moment for Linda and Joonwoo. The next day, at noon, Minho burst in, face grim. We have a problem. Kang's made his move. Joonwoo was instantly alert. What move? He didn't go after Linda. He went after Detective Huang, gave him a file full of evidence connecting you to trafficking. Fabricated, but convincing. Huang's coming to arrest you tonight. Can't you explain it's fake? Linda asked. By the time we prove it's fabricated, the damage is done. My operation is exposed. My people are vulnerable. So-young stood. So what do we do? Joonwoo's face hardened with decision. We give Hwang what he really wants. The truth about Kang. Everything. Names, locations, evidence of the trafficking. We burn Kang's entire operation to the ground and hand it to Hwang on a silver platter. Minho's eyes widened. That exposes our intelligence network. We'll lose. I don't care. Joonwoo's voice was absolute. Linda's safety is more important than territory. Linda stood, shocked. Wait. You're sacrificing your operation? For me? Yes. Joonwoo, that's... Everything I've built means nothing if you're not safe. So we give Hwang the bigger fish. He gets the trafficker he's been chasing for years. We get Kang eliminated legally. Everyone wins. Minho's voice was strained. Except us. We'll be weakened. Then we rebuild. But we rebuild with Linda alive. See, this is what obsessive love looks like from a man like Joonwoo. He'd burn his empire down to keep her safe. The question was, would Linda let him make that sacrifice? Or would she find another way? That evening, Linda made a drastic decision. While everyone was planning, she slipped out past the guards, thanks to So-young creating a distraction. She went to the one person who could stop this, Detective Hwang. His apartment was modest. Files covered every surface. This man's obsession with taking down crime syndicates rivaled Joonwoo's obsession with control. Linda. He opened the door, surprised. You came. I have information about Kang Min-seok. Come in. Inside, Linda pulled out a USB drive, files Minho had compiled on Kang. Everything. Trafficking routes, victims, financial records. Kang gave you false evidence about Joonwoo. Trafficking allegations that aren't true. How do you know they're false? Because I know what Joonwoo really does. And I know what Kang does. She placed the USB on the table. And if you're actually interested in justice instead of just arrests, you'll listen. This is real evidence on the actual trafficker. Kang set Joonwoo up because Joonwoo's been dismantling his operation for 2 years. Hwang took the drive, skeptical. And I should believe this because you're smart enough to verify it. Run the data. Cross-reference the victims. You'll find dozens who can testify. Linda met his eyes. Joonwoo's not innocent. He's a criminal. But he's not a trafficker. Kang is. And if you waste time arresting the wrong man, how many more people does Kang hurt? Why are you doing this? Protecting him? Because I love him. The words came out clear, certain. And because he was willing to sacrifice everything he's built to keep me safe. The least I can do is give him a fighting chance at survival. Hwang studied her for a long moment. You really chose him. I really did. He sighed, looking at the USB drive. If this evidence checks out, I'll move on Kang. But Linda, Joonwoo's still a criminal. Eventually I'll come for him too. I know. But today isn't that day. Joonwoo's penthouse, Linda returns. Joonwoo was furious. Minho looked ready to murder. So-young and Rachel watched with barely concealed amusement. You left. Without protection. You could have been. I solved our problem. By going to Hwang? By giving him the truth. The full truth about Kang. He's running the data now. If it checks out, and it will, he'll arrest Kang tonight. Linda stepped closer. Your trafficking problem? Gone. The fake evidence against you? Irrelevant once he has the real trafficker. You risked your life. To save yours. You were ready to burn your empire down for me. I just gave you another option. Joonwoo grabbed her shoulders. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever put yourself in danger for me. Then don't put yourself in danger for me. Linda grabbed his wrists. We're partners now, Joonwoo. That means I fight for you too. He pulled her into a crushing hug. You're going to give me a heart attack. Good. Keeps things interesting. So-young stage whispered to Rachel. They're insufferable. Completely. I love it. Joonwoo's phone rang. Minho on speaker. Hwang's moving on Kang. Full raid. 40 officers. It's happening now. Joonwoo looked at Linda with awe and frustration. You brilliant, reckless woman. If you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Linda just outsmarted both the mafia boss she loves and the detective trying to arrest him. This woman is unstoppable. Hit that subscribe button now. But while Linda was being brilliant, Kang Min-sok was getting desperate. And desperate men do desperate things. The raid was happening, but Kang had one final card to play. And it involved someone Linda loved. 2 hours later, the news broke. Kang Min-sok arrested. Trafficking operation exposed. Victims being freed. It was over. Linda, Joonwoo, So-young, and Rachel celebrated in the penthouse. Champagne flowed. For the first time in days, everyone breathed. Joonwoo pulled Linda aside, away from the others. You saved me. You know that? We saved each other. I love you. The confession was raw, honest. I don't know how to do this properly, but I know I can't imagine my life without you in it. Linda smiled. That might be the most romantic thing you've ever... Minho crashed through the door, face white with panic. Kang escaped during transport. He's gone. What? Joonwoo's voice was deadly. He had someone inside the police. Paid off a guard. He's in the wind. Minho's next words made everyone's blood run cold. And he left a message. What message? He knows So-young and Rachel are here, and he's coming for them. Tonight. Silence. Then chaos. Joonwoo barked orders. Lock down everything, no one in or out. Minho, get every man we have here now. Appa. So-young's voice shook with fear. You're safe, I promise. He won't touch you. Rachel grabbed Linda's hand. This is what you signed up for? We're getting through this. Together. The lights went out. Backup generators kicked in. Red emergency lighting bathing everything in blood-colored shadows. Guards shouted. Gunfire echoed in the distance. Stay with me. Joonwoo pulled Linda behind him. Don't leave my side. A voice crackled through speakers. Kang Min-sok. Min Joonwoo, you took everything from me. My operation. My freedom. So now I take everything from you, starting with your sister. Where is she? Joonwoo's roar was primal. They looked around. So-young was gone. Rachel too. No, no, no. Linda's voice broke. The roof. You have 10 minutes before I throw them off it. Come alone, or they die. Your choice, Joonwoo. Your empire or your family. Linda cried as she watched Joonwoo head to the rooftop. And there it is. The moment every hero faces. The impossible choice. Joonwoo could save So-young and Rachel, but walking into Kang's trap alone likely meant his death. Or he could wait for his men, strategize, and risk his sister's life. What would he choose? What would you choose? At the rooftop, the wind was howling. Joonwoo arrived there alone. Kang stood near the edge, knife to So-young's throat. Rachel was bound and gagged beside them, terrified. The great Min Joonwoo, alone, vulnerable. Kang's smile was vicious. How does it feel? Let them go. Your fight is with me. My fight is with everything you love. Tell me, how much is your sister's life worth? Your empire? Because I want both. Name your price. Everything. Your territory. Your operations. Your surrender. You get on your knees and beg. And maybe, I let them live. Linda appeared from the stairwell door, flanked by Minho and 20 armed guards. Or maybe you realize you're surrounded. Everyone turned. Kang pressed the knife harder. So-young cried out. One step closer and I cut her throat. Linda's voice was steady. I called Hwang, told him everything. Where Kang is, what he's doing. He's downstairs with a SWAT team. Kang, you have two choices, surrender and face trial, or kill hostages and spend your life being hunted. Either way, You've already lost. I'll kill them both. Detective Huang emerged from the other stairwell, gun drawn. Kang Min-sok, drop the weapon. It's over. Joonwoo stepped forward, voice deadly calm. You wanted to hurt me. You succeeded. You terrified my sister, threatened the woman I love. But here's what you miscalculated. I'm not my empire. I'm not even my rage. I'm the man who will spend every day for the rest of your life making sure you suffer for this. Kang realized he was trapped. You think you've won? I'll testify. Tell them everything about you. Your crimes. Your operation. You'll go down too. Maybe, but you'll go down first, and that's enough. Last warning, Huang commanded. Knife down, now. Kang looked around, saw he was beaten. Slowly, he lowered the knife. Soyoung ran to Joonwoo, Rachel to Linda. Officers swarmed, arresting Kang. Huang approached. Joonwoo. We'll talk. About everything. But not tonight. Tonight your family is safe. Joonwoo looked at Linda. You called him. You trusted him to help us. I trusted you. But I also trusted that Huang wants justice more than revenge. Linda smiled slightly. Sometimes the right move is letting someone else win too. Joonwoo kissed her forehead. You're remarkable. I know. And breathe. Everyone's safe. Kang arrested for real this time. Crisis averted. But the cost? Joonwoo now owed Detective Huang. And debts in this world always come due. 1 week later, Avant Maison launch party. Linda's first collection as creative director debuted to a packed room. The collection was called Collision, inspired by her journey. Bold, unapologetic, fusion of cultures. The fashion world was obsessed. Joonwoo watched from the crowd, pride evident. Soyoung and Rachel flanked him. You actually fell for someone normal, Soyoung teased. She's anything but normal. Rachel leaned in. Treat her. Right, or I'll kill you myself. Joonwoo's lips curved. I believe you would try. Linda finished her speech, found Joonwoo through the crowd. So? What did you think? I think you just proved every person who doubted you wrong. I think you're going to change this industry. His eyes held hers. And I think I'm the luckiest bastard alive that you chose me. Damn right you are. They kissed. Cameras flashed. Tomorrow they'd be all over social media again. The mafia boss and the designer. The collision that changed everything. So here's where we are. Linda claimed her power. Joonwoo claimed his heart. Kang's in prison. Detective Huang is watching, waiting. And these two? They're just beginning. Linda's office. Late that night she was alone, packing up after the successful launch. An envelope slid under her door. Linda opened it. Inside, a photo of her and Joonwoo at the party, looking happy. And a note in elegant script. Congratulations on your success. But success in this city comes with costs. Joonwoo knows. Soon, you will too. The real game is just beginning. A friend. Linda's blood ran cold. She called Joonwoo immediately. Someone left me a threat. At my office. Joonwoo's voice went instantly alert. I'm coming to you. Don't move. Who would threaten us now? Kang's locked up. Kang wasn't my only enemy, just the most recent. His voice darkened. Stay on the phone with me. Linda looked at the photo again. In the background, barely visible, a figure watching them. Familiar features but too blurry to identify. Who is the mystery threat? Drop your theories in the comments. And you know you need to subscribe because part 2 is coming and things are about to get so much more intense. Will Linda and Joonwoo survive this new threat? Will Detective Huang finally take Joonwoo down? Will their love destroy them or save them? Find out in part 2 of The Collision. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications and tell me in the comments, who do you think is watching them? Is it Minho? Someone from Joonwoo's past? A new enemy? Comment below. See you next time for more Afro-Korean dark romance that'll have you screaming.